Hey, I'm Lindsay LaBonte, your host here with Real People Real Estate, where we sit down with people right here in Western Massachusetts who are doing awesome things in real estate. It can be anybody from first-time home buyers to seasoned investors. We want to share those stories. And today I have a really special guest who is an absolute pro, Craig Della Penna. How you doing, Craig?
I'm very well. Thank you, Lindsay, for having me here.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And Craig's bio, your bio is unbelievable. So I'm going to have to paraphrase a little bit, forgive me, and I'm going to read it. But Craig Della Penna is a true trailblazer in our area, literally and figuratively, as the first realtor in the United States to specialize in residential properties near rail trails. Craig has facilitated hundreds of home purchases and sales in communities connected by these repurposed corridors. He's also the founder of Northeast Greenway Solutions, a consulting firm. We'll learn more about that, I'm sure, as we go along. That's focused on completing the longest rail trail corridor in New England, the Mass Central Rail Trail. His advocacy includes publishing a popular monthly newsletter with over 17,000 subscribers, ranking in the top 10% of constant contact campaigns. That is something. And the author of several books about rail trails, has also been featured in case studies and covering topics from creative branding to meaningful career shifts. With his wife, he also runs the Sugar Maple Trailside Inn in Florence, right on our local rail trail close by. A charming and award-winning bed and breakfast just 8 feet from one of the nation's earliest rail trails. And you've given many presentations across the country, and we're going to have so much to talk about today. So thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
So to kind of just get started, we're going to do some 3 or 4 shorter questions, couple sentence answers, and then we'll get into our longer. So any nicknames or anything specific you want me to call you today?
Oh, no, Craig is fine.
Craig, okay, awesome. We can handle that. Where do you spend most of your time right now?
Where do I spend most of my time?
What feels most like home?
My garage.
Your garage.
I sold my old British sports car to make room for a Zoom recording studio to be able to do a memoir with one of my board members. Because I've been very busy over the last few years, and it's time to do a memoir here because we're at a tipping point here in getting everything built out.
Well, we'll definitely have to hear about that and the garage. First, what was the car again? Remind me.
Oh, it was a 1964 Triumph TR4.
Beautiful car.
Yeah, it was very rare. It was only 10 or 12 still like it in the country.
Wow. Did you sell it? Is it around here still?
Yes, it's still in the valley up in Northfield. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's something recently that you've been really proud of professionally?
Getting to yes on all the communities that fought the rail trail across the state from Boston to Northampton. There were several communities that fought it tenaciously, and they're now all on board.
Wow, we're going to dig into that, definitely. All right, this is kind of a different one. If your best friend was sitting right next to you right now, and I asked that person to give 3 words to describe you, how do you think your best friend would describe you in 3 words?
The annoying rain man.
Annoying. Okay, we haven't heard that before. Perfect. I don't know if I agree with them, but what is your earliest memory tied to real estate and home ownership? Like the earliest time you realized people actually own properties?
When I grew up, we didn't own a home. My earliest memory of anything along that line was we lived in a 2-family house that was owned by my grandmother, and my father renovated the building. And then my mother and father got divorced, and we ended up in an apartment building in Holyoke. And my first inkling of home ownership was when I bought my own house. And that was a house that used to be owned by the Drycorns family, Drycorns Bread here in western New England.
Wow.
It was the Drycorns family home.
How old were you, if you don't mind me asking, when you bought your first house?
28.
28.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to dig into. Thank you for just doing that quick little dipping our toes in, but let's dive in. And by the way, the median, we were talking about a little before we started recording, just the shift in the landscape here, and the median homebuyer age, first-time homebuyer age I just saw is like 38, 39. So that's why I was curious about how old you were when you bought, because that was in the in your 20s was kind of typical, and it's a different environment. So I want to know all these different sort of paths you've had, no pun intended with the railroad path, how they have all crossed, and how did the vision come to life as far as being the rail side realtor? How did that come about?
I never dreamt of being a realtor, ever.
You didn't raise your hand in elementary school and say, I know what I want to be when I grow up.
No. I worked for the railroad industry. I worked in the railroad industry. I marketed rail freight and planned to start up and manage the operations of big transloading facilities, rail in, store, outbound to trucks to final destinations, one of which was the largest of its type in New England. And one of my customers, who I knew in a different realm of obsolete topo map conversions to stationery or envelopes, his main line of business I didn't know until we were chatting one day, and this was in February '94. He was a publisher of outdoor recreational titles and guidebooks and things. And I have a background in railroad history, and so he contracted with me to write a series of books on old railroads being converted to bike and hike trails. And so for several years we were going out, Kathy and I, going out every weekend, biking on these trails and writing up narratives about the history, pointing out all the old forgotten infrastructure. You probably, as a 21st century person, didn't know what was there. And then I started hearing about people being opposed to trails, and I could not believe it. And the publisher, when the first book came out, wanted me to do a series of lectures on these things because the books were a hit. And I said, oh no, I can't do that. I can't speak in public. I'm very shy. And so, but I found my voice going to those meetings where people were opposed, and I was the only person in the room who had been on scores and scores of these places. And so that's, and I was later hired to be a lobbyist in 6 states. And so I would parachute into the wars, stop the wars, teach locals how to win, not to lose, or prevent the war in the beginning. People today can't believe that there were people opposed to this. I know it sounds so crazy.
Trail, but it goes through people's yards, potentially, and
so when I worked for the Trails Conservancy as a national organization, and they closed the New England office down to scale it back to Pennsylvania back in the early years of the 21st century. And I said, what am I going to do next? All those antis I knew over the years who were very forthright and passionate that the trail was going to be a bad thing near their house, it was going to devalue their house. I said, I'll become a realtor, and that'll be my niche. You have to have a niche as a realtor. I'll be the first realtor in the United States specializing in the sale of houses near rail trails.
That's amazing. And in working with your now home buyers and homeowners and sellers near the rail trail, what do you find from those folks is the most special? I mean, what's the draw to living near the rail trail?
Well, it's a full spectrum of experiences. Some are elders and they just want to have a safe place to walk. And in the context here of southern New England in particular, the rail trail network is not like other places in the United States. Here, the village centers were improved by having the railroad nearby. And so when the railroad's gone, the big mill complexes are like this building. This was rail served. In fact, our company used to own the railroad corridor that goes by this. And this is a modern remake of an old industrial complex. It's now, places like your studio here. And it's very common that these are apartments or condos, and so this, in New England, this dead railroad network connects things. They're not They're not just cute paths in the woods.
Yeah.
They're very important places to
Yeah.
get ways to get around town.
Right.
Kids can bike to school around here.
Right.
Young families, I've been in multiple offer situations where young families have been involved in the bidding war, as
Yeah.
we call it. They, one comes to mind was a young couple. The dad wanted to move back to his hometown in Northampton to be able to have his kids bike to school like he used to.
Yeah.
So I had a house on the market that was 2 doors from the rail trail that he used to bike to school on.
Wow.
He wanted
How
to
special.
buy that house so his kids could bike to school.
Yeah.
And so it's the full spectrum of
Yeah.
things here. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I think sometimes we take it for granted, right? Because at least in what I witnessed growing up, we've had the rail trail and it's there. I find when I travel with my family and my young kids, like you're saying, especially, we look for cities and towns that are accessible and have
right.
that. And we have it right here.
But it's strange, that within 150 miles of where we're sitting right now
Yeah.
in East Hampton, this is the densest network of dead steam railroad corridor in
Wow.
North America.
Wow.
And it didn't go to coal mine branch lines where no one lives and just through the forest.
Yeah.
It connected all these little cities
Yeah.
around the
Yeah.
region.
We'll have to link this because, well, maybe this one might be up.
Yeah,
Is
on the
this more of
back
a
side.
color?
It has a beautiful map there.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really, this is amazing, and this is showing our listeners, will maybe be able to link this in our bio to
Right.
see this rail trail. Finishtherailtrail.org actually is
That's
right
right.
on here. So from Northampton all the way across to Boston.
Yes.
So it's so interesting to me, Art, if you don't mind sharing, I mean, what's the biggest opposition when trying to
Oh,
finish
Well,
these trails?
the
Or the
opposition has
challenge, I guess
melted
we
away now. There's really not much opposition, a few pockets here and there.
Yeah.
But the opposition was largely robbers, muggers, rapists, and thieves are going to come to our neighborhood. Pedophiles would snatch my children out of their
Wow.
backyard.
So it's the
It's
strangers on the walkway kind
my
of.
land, not your
Yeah.
land.
Yeah,
You will devalue my house so much by the proximity of that trail.
yeah,
It's going to devalue my house so much I'll be upside down and I'll never be able to sell it.
yeah. Interesting.
I could introduce you to a woman who quit an executive level job at Milton Bradley.
Wow.
Now it's Hasbro, but years ago
Yeah.
she fought it, quit her day job to fight the rail trail full time. Have you ever heard of the three stages of truth?
I
The
have not.
first
Tell us.
stage of truth, when people come up with a new idea, people will scoff at it and say,
Yeah.
oh, that'll never happen. What a joke. The second stage is people are very passionately opposed
Yeah.
and they'll fight it to their last breath.
Right.
The third stage is why I really have to write a memoir, because no one believes when I tell people what I've been doing.
Yeah.
They can't believe that people were actually opposed.
Right.
And
Right.
the
Yeah,
last
for
war
sure.
I was involved in was in Sudbury,
Yeah.
where neighbors dropped in $600,000 fighting the rail
Wow.
trail and the
Wow.
undergrounding of the grid.
Wow. What about financial challenges? I mean, I would imagine that's one side of the opposition is from the homeowners or community, but what about everybody wants to go forward with it? How does it actually get funded? How do the improvements happen?
Well, there's a program in Massachusetts stood up. There was all states have ways to fund these through the federal government through the Rec Trail program, smaller pots of money to do trail development. Might be only a few hundred yards, a few miles.
Yeah.
When Governor Baker was the governor, he stood up a protocol inside the governor's office. It was called Trails Team. And he took, there's 3 main agencies that have a role in this, and he made them all mid-level staffers come together in his suite of offices in the State House twice a month to sit down, take down silos between their agencies, figure out what they're all doing together, because they weren't working together and it was slowing things down.
Yeah.
And so now things have accelerated. During the pandemic, DOT noticed that the Mass Central Rail Trail had been getting about smaller grants throughout the years, over 40 years, bits and pieces, and the 100-mile corridor was about half built out. They didn't even know it could be
Wow.
finished.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they did determine it could be finished, and they wanted us to, the 501c3 I had called Nowatic Network, to determine what it would be worth if it was done, because no one had ever asked that basic question. We're doing this 100-mile trail.
Right.
The last sections are going to be very expensive to do. There's big challenges. What would it be worth if it got done? So we did a report on that, showed it's going to be worth 2/3 of the state's population within 10 miles.
Wow.
And it's going to be worth $200 million a year.
Wow. Yeah, right, with all the economics.
And so right now, here we are in mid-June, and DOT is pricing it up right now, what it's going to cost to finish. And the state reps and senators along this whole corridor are chomping at the bit to get that number so they can break it into 3-year or 5-year or 7-year chunks to be able to do it in bite-sized pieces to get the thing finished.
Wow. As you're speaking, it's reminding me that we left something off your bio, I think, which is you've been really involved in the Regional Tourism Council here, too. And we recently went to the legislative breakfast back in, January, right? And
April, I thought.
April, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. And the other question that came up and that I'm curious about is, so you've done all the lobbying and organizing and all of this work with your consulting business. And also as a realtor, you've morphed that in. And third, I guess, or fourth or fifth or whatever it is on your list is your inn that you run too. So that's been another way that you're utilizing your expertise and the rail trail.
The bed and breakfast helps me a lot in lots of ways. So many people we get as guests love our area so much they want to move here. So they become real estate clients. Not maybe right away, but over time, even Smith College parents miss coming here because the daughter's graduating. They want to come back.
They came to visit their kid for 4 years,
And so
it's really special.
And so the bed and breakfast is very impactful. It's only 2 guest rooms, and you don't generally quit your day job for a 2-room bed and breakfast. But it's also useful in my rail trail advocacy because I go into pressure-packed public meetings and I say, I hear your fear, very authentic, your fear is real. But I live 8 feet from one. And we operate a bed and breakfast, and I'll give you a complimentary weeknight stay. But it has to be on a weeknight because I want you to wake up to the laughter of children biking to school. And how many kids bike to your school today? And it's hardly any. And so it's very effective. And we just love living there. It's like our house sits 8 feet from the trail. And it's like having a parade go by all the time.
That must be fun. And the accessibility to be able to get where you want to go.
That's right.
Like you mentioned your Pilates class today.
That's right.
So are you able to walk? The rail trail goes right behind and right down the street probably.
Yes.
To get,
Yes, everything's interconnected around here. Plus what happens when you build a rail trail in your community, the motorists expect to see bicycles in places they never expected to see them. So they see bicycles and pedestrians more, and their bicycles recognize that they're being seen, so they can feel more comfortable to bike around town. And so you see more bikes, so everything.
Everything comes together. So what's happening now? I mean, if someone was interested in learning more, getting involved, what are you working on? What's the most important piece of the puzzle currently?
The most important piece is to get DOT's report done. And I've stepped back from my president role as the president of Nowatic Network or Mass Central Rail Trail Coalition. And they're going to be doing more bike rides, more fun-friendly family events. Subscribe to my newsletter. We're going to have updates there. I'm going to be doing my own podcast called Roads Less Traveled.
Tell us about that.
Yes, that's my life has been a very interesting journey, and I will be doing a podcast based on all my life experiences. I'll be interviewing other realtors about rail-to-trail development and the tie-in to real estate and bed and breakfast. We have to really stand up, organize people to stand up bed and breakfasts in Worcester County along this corridor. And so we'll be interviewing people, teaching them how to do this. I'll be going out to the regional tourism councils to help organize families that want to start up a bed and breakfast. 80% of the American adult population has one time, maybe fleetingly, has thought of opening a bed and breakfast.
And I would think now more than ever with cost of living and everything, and if that can help.
Right.
And possibly, now does the zoning where it's easier to have accessory units and zoning's changed a little? Has anything changed around operating a bed and breakfast that would make it any easier?
Yes. Back in the 20-teens, the phenomenon known as Airbnb stood up.
Yeah.
And that was, very hidden sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you were an Airbnb operator, you were banned. You couldn't have a sign. You couldn't advertise. You couldn't even talk to your prospective guests until they put in their fee to Airbnb.
Yeah, sure.
I was fired by Airbnb because I broke down their paywall, as it were.
Yes.
And but in order for us to have all these bed and breakfasts along the way, we have to have a centralized guest management system that would be affiliated with the Mass Central Rail Trail.
Right.
And all the bed and breakfasts would be a part of that coalition of bed and breakfasts, some of which could be Airbnbs.
Right.
And Airbnbs have diminished. There used to be 90 Airbnbs within 10 miles of Northampton City Hall.
Wow.
That was in 2019 when they first stood up taxes, when they put taxes on all bed and breakfasts and Airbnbs. Most of the Airbnbs, a lot of the Airbnbs melted away because you have to pay San Francisco 18% and it's 16 to 18% for municipal and state taxes, so it didn't make sense anymore. And a lot of apartments were taken out of service by landlords and made into Airbnbs so they can get double the rent. And so a lot of the Airbnbs have melted away. And so
primarily because of the taxes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and we pay taxes first time. We're only 2 rooms, but we pay taxes. I don't care. And but when we stand up all these extra bed and breakfasts across the state, they will be under one flag of a guest management system that will allow people to choose the bed and breakfast they want to stay in, put a deposit down, and so it won't be an onerous fee on it, but it'll still allow you to choose and have your luggage shuttled to the next place every day after breakfast.
Yeah, so people can connect and travel that way.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Creating memories for their kids.
Right. And how easy is that? Because as a person traveling with family, I'm always searching family-friendly options. That's huge. So we'll know to stay on the lookout for your podcast memoir and this eventual coalition of bed and breakfast.
That's right.
That's really wonderful. And so this is more of a side question that just dawned on me. When you started speaking originally, when we started talking, you said you were a little nervous about public speaking, or it wasn't your thing.
Right.
And now you've given thousands of presentations.
All over the country.
Yeah.
21 states so far.
21 states. That's amazing. So, and you said you found your voice. How did that happen?
My brother, who was 10 years older than me, he was the state debating champion. And I said, when I'm going to go to high school, I'm going to be like my big brother. I'm going to join the speech club, debate team. And I did, but I was so shy, I flunked out.
Wow.
And it was because I didn't have something compelling to me to speak out against or speak out in favor of. And what happened was all those rail trail wars I was involved in, early in my writing career, the editor suggested I should do a slide lecture series based on our experiences out there on the trails. I said, oh, no, I can't do that. I can't speak in public. But when I watched people come out and talk doom and gloom about how their community was going to go down the tubes and be ruined by the trail, I said, I'm the only one around that can see the truth, because I had been on scores of those trails then. Now I've been on over 300.
That's amazing.
And with my Realtor lens on, I can see if the community's coming up or if it's going down.
Right.
The trail will arrest the downward trend and bring it up.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be gentrification on steroids.
Right, right.
Because I was involved in the High Line in New York City.
Wow. Yeah.
That became gentrification on steroids.
Right. It's a balance.
But it's a balance.
Yeah.
But there are places that are balanced, and there are places that have dead railroad corridors still, that have rural blight. Places that convert their corridor will erase the rural blight.
Right. People can get there. Yeah.
And so I've seen it with my own eyes.
Right.
And
all of these case studies.
And so I'm a compelling speaker.
Yeah.
And I bring out case studies and life experiences, and so this is what I do. And I have too much fun.
Wonderful. It really
break
is.
opposition.
Yeah.
I even herd cats.
Yeah.
I put together teams of lawyers to go before the SJC to break opposition or do high-profile cases that we can't lose.
Well, it's serious work that you're doing, and we all reap the benefits of just seeing these beautiful rail trails that are here. So
we don't have any kids or grandkids to dote over.
Yeah.
And I like to say that some people don't say it out loud, but I'm not yet old enough to golf.
Yeah.
I say that.
Yeah, with your list of everything you have going on, I don't know if golf would end up making it in there.
I did start learning to play golf, and then I was invited to write the series of books, and I just
took priority.
Never looked back.
Yeah. Hey, that's all right. Golf can be pretty overrated from what I've experienced. It's a tough one. Well, thank you. I really appreciate all that you've shared with us today. We do have some kind of fun rapid fire icebreaker type things we'll close out with.
Okay.
So what's your favorite coffee shop on the rail trail right now, if you had to pick one?
The Pie Bar.
Pie Bar.
Yes. People come up the trail and they come to the corner of Chestnut Street and this is it. This is where the Pie Bar is. And they turn left.
I may have bought 2 of those hand pies for myself for breakfast the other day because I couldn't decide which flavor I wanted. So they're wonderful. What, if you could just in one word describe your own experience in the housing market, what would that be?
I'd say like Forrest Gump. He was a witness to iconic events just passing through. I remember the moment we came into the seller's market was the weekend between Obama's re-election and Thanksgiving, when the sweet spot of the market back then was the 300 to 500 range, and we went from 30 parties at open houses to 90 parties.
Yeah.
I said, oh my God.
It's unbelievable.
That was an icon, and we're just sliding out of the seller's market now.
Yeah. It's an interesting shift. This could be so many segments that we could talk about here, but we try to keep it to 30 minutes. So we'll have to keep an eye on that shift in the market and have you back, and we can talk about that too. What's your favorite room in a house?
The favorite room in the house, in a house or my house?
Oh, whatever jumps to mind.
Oh, well, in my house, it is the back office that is actually the laundry room too, because it sits
Do you like doing laundry?
No.
I was gonna say I've got a pile of laundry. I can.
Well, I can imagine with 2 kids.
Oh yeah, it never stops.
In the back office, which is off the kitchen, it has a door that goes out to the patio, with the trail right next to us.
Yeah.
So I open the door and I can hear people going by and talking. Sometimes they're talking, oh, look at this, it's a bed and breakfast. Oh, they have a patio out there. And I can hear them sometimes talking about day-to-day stuff. I can just hear conversations going.
Yeah,
and that's where my office is, my primary office in my house. I also have the Zoom recording studio.
It's so cool because everything is just tied together. You're living and working in what you're working on too.
That's right.
And it's all really come together. And that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your story today.
Well, we have so much fun.
Yes, this was great. And any last parting little piece of advice or story?
you know, of all the lenders out there, I love doing business with you guys.
Oh, thank you.
You're first class. You don't have 9 to 5 hours. You just go. You don't have banker's hours. And you guys go, and everybody's so first class and doing
Thank you.
everything
Appreciate it.
for the betterment of my buyers.
Thank
You know, a lot of buyers today are cash buyers because they've already sold their house.
Right.
And they're sitting on a bunch of,
Right.
so,
It's amazing, the cash in the market.
but when I
really is.
have someone who actually needs to get a mortgage,
Yeah, I appreciate it. We didn't even plug that, so thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been really great to chat with you,
Thank
Craig.
you.
All right, so that's
Thanks,
a wrap. Yeah, you're welcome. That's a wrap for our Real People Real Estate podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Every other Tuesday, come and listen to us here. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, check out the link in our bio, and I'd love to chat with you too. We'll see you in a couple weeks.